Hey y'all, it's Chris here with Rockin Farm, and you might be noticing that this is a special Saturday edition of our video series. For the next few months, you are going to be getting content 3 times a week. I'm going to do my 2 regular videos every week about what's going on in the farm tours, garden tours, etc. But for the next few months, I'm going to be putting out these Saturday videos as well because we have decided to participate in the Purina Poultry Feed Greatness Challenge. Now, this wasn't something we were invited to do. It's not even something that I necessarily even really knew about. What happened was that we had been feeding our egg-laying flock the same feed for about a year, and over the course of the year, I just noticed things were depreciating in the flock. And then I was contacted by a friend, and that friend of mine was just like, man, you got to get off that feed. I got on that feed and I started noticing these differences, and I'll be honest with you, that's when it dawned on me, like, yeah, I guess I wasn't having these problems before. So shame on me for not being the most observant farmer, but over the course of the last year, we have been noticing a lot of things going on with our chickens. They are all perfectly healthy as far as like diseases go. As a matter of fact, we just had the Texas Animal Health Commission out here a few days ago who went over our entire flock, and he said all the birds are in great shape. It looks like, you know, at this time I was already talking to him about it. He goes, I would definitely say you've got some nutritional imbalances in your flock, but they're healthy, they're disease free, they're alert, they're good looking chickens. And he told me that he's been in the chicken business for about 30 years, and that's definitely what he thinks he's seeing here, is that we have some sort of a nutritional imbalance in our flock. So what we're dealing with is a decrease in egg count. And when I say a decrease in egg count, most of the people who I know that have chickens this time of year, if they've got 20 chickens, they're getting 20 eggs a day. If they've got 30 chickens, they're getting 30 eggs a day. I have always had somewhere between 33 and 45 hens, and the most eggs I have ever gotten was 27. On average, right now, I have 33 laying hens right now. On average, I'm more around 18 to 20 eggs a day. So that's not quite on par with where it should be when I compare my flock to other people's flocks that I know. We've also been noticing over the course of the last year a decrease in the thickness of the shells on our eggs. I was able to boost this a little bit by adding an oyster shell supplement to their feed, but I don't want a feed that I have to add stuff to. I want feed that's already properly nutritionally balanced. So decreased egg count, thinner egg shells. A couple of other things I've noticed is kind of a lack of luster in the feathers. Where I used to have some bright shiny chickens, I don't really have some bright shiny chickens anymore. In addition to no longer having the bright shiny chickens, I'm also noticing that a lot of my chickens are losing their saddle feathers. Now, I realize that this could be a rooster issue and overbreeding and et cetera, but I also know that it's not just like those few favorite hens that the roosters have that lay down real nice for them. A good share of my girls are losing saddle feathers. And then the big thing is they're losing the saddle feathers really easy. They kind of almost just fall out when the roosters mount. And on top of that, they're not growing back as quickly as I've seen them grow back in the past. Now, I do have a couple more roosters than I wish I had, but for the purpose of this particular challenge, and I'll explain more about that in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and leave my flock just as it is because I want the feed to be the only variable. If I pull 2 roosters out and then all of a sudden their feathers start growing back and they have less saddle feather damage, is that because of the roosters or is that because of the feed? So I'm going to cull a couple of roosters, but I'm not going to cull those 2 roosters until about 60 to 90 days when I'm done with this challenge. Now, the reason I'm doing this particular challenge isn't because it is a thing. I decided after a lot of research that I wanted to try out Purina feeds and see how they did for my chickens. I did a lot of research, looked into some of the things that they put into their feeds, looked into some of the supplements and the additives. I looked at a lot of different kinds of feeds. The big thing is I had to look at what was available to me, because in a perfect world, I would just be going to my local feed store and getting my feed. But where I live, I don't have a mill that is willing to work with me from a nutritional standpoint to get my feed to where I want it, at least not in the amounts that I am capable of purchasing. Number one, I don't have the flock size to support, 1, 2, 3 ton purchases of feed. So it would just end up going bad in my barrels anyhow because I'd be keeping it for so long. In addition to that, I don't have the cash to throw down on 2 tons of feed at a time that's specially formulated just for my farm and that I do in these 2-ton runs. And that's very expensive. Even though I spend the same amount or more over the course of 6 months, it's tough to come up with that cash to get 6 months of feed all at one sitting. Now, this isn't saying anything bad about Purina. It's just that that's me. I'm that shop small, shop local whenever you can type of guy. In this particular situation, shop small and shop local just aren't going to work for me. So I started researching what all of the various chicken feed suppliers near me had available, started comparing apples to apples on the backs of the bags, and I decided I just wanted to give this Purina Layena chicken feed a try. That's when I discovered that they had this Feed Greatness Challenge. And to be honest with y'all, the Feed Greatness Challenge, it's just something you can do. It's not like they give you a whole bunch of big incentive to take part in this, but they do give you some trial materials, some forms to track egg production with, stuff like that. So it's a real thing, but we're talking $6 in coupons. And what you see sitting behind me here, this is about $375 worth of feed. So the first initial $3 coupon didn't go real far. So that's exactly what you see sitting behind me here is 20 bags of Purina Layena feed that I paid for out of my pocket. No sponsorship or anything like that going on here. And I took my coupon in and got my $3 discount. I ended up buying this feed at Tractor Supply because my local feed store couldn't get it for me. At least not unless I was willing to buy 5,000 pounds of it, which again takes me right back to the issue of I don't have the room for storage. Tractor Supply's got a little deal where if you buy 20 bags, basically you pay for 19 and the 20th one is free. You get a 5% discount on the purchase of 20 bags or more. So I saved myself a little bit of money by getting 1 bag for free and my $3 coupon. But past that, y'all, this is an all out of pocket experiment here. I'm not being supported by Purina, supported by Tractor Supply, anything like that in any way. Over the course of the next 60 to 90 days, I haven't decided how long I'm going to go yet. I'm going to be feeding my chickens, both my little breeding birds out there in the pasture, but more importantly, my egg-laying flock for my personal egg consumption. I'm going to be feeding them nothing but this Purina feed. I'm going to get them completely off the old feed. I'm going to be keeping track of egg production on a daily and weekly basis. I'm also going to be taking photos of these chickens multiple times during the week. What we're going to be able to do is compare egg quality, egg production, health of the chickens, coverage as far as feathers from beginning to end, and I'm going to document all of that on social media and through these YouTube videos that are going to come out on Saturday. So the one thing that I would ask from everybody, if you could do me a favor, is that if you're going to make any comments on any of these Saturday videos, just go ahead and hashtag Purina Feed Greatness Challenge down in your comments. So, hey Chris, good luck, hope everything works out, hashtag Purina Feed Greatness Challenge. That is one of the things that Purina is kind of requesting, and obviously that draws the attention of Purina Feeds to other people. I just want to take it to that next level, you know what I mean? Like when I do my Instagram posts, I'll be hashtagging Purina. All my YouTube videos, I'll be hashtagging Purina. I'm really excited to see where this potentially goes. My attitude is, my poor girls couldn't be doing a whole lot worse. So if I end up doing this for 60 days, the feed isn't quite what I thought it was, then I'm out a couple of $100 at that point between the difference of what I'm paying for feed now and the upscaled price I'm paying for Purina feed. And if I try something for a couple $100 and it doesn't work out, I kind of almost consider that a net wash when the potential is there for these girls to be doing a lot better. So y'all, wish me luck. Follow me in this Purina Poultry Feed Greatness Challenge. Keep an eye on my flock and see what you think about how they're doing. And until I see everybody again, this has been Chris with Rockin' Farm. I want you all to be happy and live healthy.